When I was a kid, I had a friend, and we would always play together. One day, he stopped coming outside to play. I would see him at school, I would see him on the bus, but as soon as the bus dropped us off, he would just run home and then not come back outside to play. One day, I knocked on his door and I asked his mom if he could come outside and play. She called for him and he came to the door and he said that he wasn't going to come outside to play because he was playing video games. I wasn't allowed to have video games growing up, but I was somewhat familiar with them back then. Uh, but when I asked what video game he was playing, I remember him saying Final Fantasy VII. I immediately thought to myself, what a nerd. What kind of game is Final Fantasy VII? And why are there 7 of them? Now, I didn't tell him that, of course, but I sure did think it pretty loudly. So he asked me if I wanted to come in and see what it was about. And reluctantly, I was like, yeah, sure. Yeah, let's see what Final Fantasy VII is all about. So, before we even got to his room, he just started saying how he loved the story, how he loved the characters, and it's such a great game. And now, this is kind of a spoiler alert for a game that came out in 1997, Final Fantasy VII, but somebody, I'm not going to say who, but in the original game, somebody dies. And he was convinced that there was a way to play the game and to save this person from dying. And so he was just engrossed with this game, trying to figure out how to save this person. And, he never did find out how, I imagine. But to this day, I've never played Final Fantasy VII, the original one that came out in 1997. When Final Fantasy VII Remake was announced, I immediately thought of him. And I was like, well, I don't think I'll ever play the original one, so maybe this is a game that I might be into. And keep in mind, I had never played any other Final Fantasy games ever before the remake was announced for Final Fantasy VII. So I saw this as an opportunity to finally dive into this genre and dive into this series and hopefully like it.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most iconic games reimagined for a new generation, Final Fantasy VII Remake. Whether you're a longtime fan of the original or new to the series, there's a lot to unpack. Let's get started. Originally released in 1997, Final Fantasy VII is a game that left a massive mark on the RPG genre. With the remake, Square Enix has brought the game to life with modern graphics, real-time combat, and expanded storytelling.
Have fun.
Let's kick things off with the story. Final Fantasy VII Remake follows the original narrative closely, but adds a lot more depth to the characters and world.
What was his name again?
Cloud Strife.
Right.
And he isn't a soldier anymore. Still, he's a professional, unlike the rest of us. I'm glad to have him.
And don't worry, this is a spoiler-free review. All of the gameplay footage captured is from the first 5 hours of gameplay. In Final Fantasy VII Remake, the story follows Cloud Strife, a former soldier-turned-mercenary, who joins the eco-terrorist group Avalanche to fight the corrupt Shinra Corporation, which is draining the planet's life force. As Cloud and his allies, including Barrett, Tifa, and Aerith, battle Shinra, they uncover deeper mysteries about the planet's fate and Cloud's own identity. The remake expands on the original narrative, introducing new characters and a mysterious force called the Arbiters of Fate, which hints at potential changes to the established timeline, creating a mix of familiar and surprising twists.
You better be worth the money, Merc. Every last gil.
The remake gives us a closer look at Cloud Strife, our spiky-haired protagonist, and his journey from a cold mercenary.
You gonna stand there and pretend you can't hear the planet crying out in pain? I know you can!
You really hear that?
Damn straight I do!
Get help.
I can't
To a
remember
hero
the last
with a
time
heart.
I saw a real one. Huh? How sweet. When did you get so thoughtful?
Guy can change. Has been 5 years.
Then we have characters like Aerith, Tifa, and Barrett, who all get their moments to shine.
Do you...
Yeah!
Should have asked for more money.
Each character has been given new layers of complexity that really make them stand out.
You're down! Give him your all!
The part that I like most about the battles is how the characters banter with each other, taking shots at one another as they are beating the living heck out of whatever unfortunate creature happens to be in their way.
Thought you were the expert!
So what's your brilliant plan, genius?
It's my time to shine!
Or go down in flames?
The game introduces new elements and characters, like the mysterious whispers known as the Arbiters of Fate, which adds a whole new dimension to the story. We'll talk more about how these additions impact the overall narrative later on.
We talked it over, but... in the end... we didn't want to put so much on you. This is our fight.
Jesse, what's the holdup?
While the original covered the entirety of Midgar in a few hours, the remake stretches this out to around 30 to 40 hours, adding side quests, character interactions, and world building. Some fans love this, while others feel the pacing suffers as a result.
They say the only one who will look out for you is you.
Cloud's a great fighter, but only we know that. If no one knows him, no one will hire him. Thought if he joined the Watch, he could get his name out there.
That would work for everybody.
Truth be told,
The combat system in the remake is a hybrid between real-time action and turn-based strategy. It's a big shift from the original's ATB, active time battle system, but it works surprisingly well.
Calling fire. That's that. It's over.
You control one character at a time, but can switch between them on the fly, issuing commands to your teammates. The tactical pause feature lets you slow down time to select abilities, spells, or items, giving you a moment to think strategically.
Focus. Find a way. Here it comes.
Guess it's my turn! Bring in the heat!
Enough. Don't just fight. Adapt.
Each character has their own unique abilities and playstyle. For example, Cloud excels in melee combat, Barrett handles ranged attacks, and Tifa is fast and agile. Learning how to use each character effectively is key to mastering the combat.
I got this.
Bring it.
boss fights are a highlight, combining strategy with intense action. Each boss has multiple phases, keeping you on your toes. The game also rewards you for learning enemy weaknesses and exploiting them.
Lightning magic.
No other option.
Take the lead.
Hell yeah! You see the damage I did?
Keep it up.
Exploration is more fleshed out compared to the original. There are more side quests, hidden items, and areas to explore. Some of the side quests feel like filler, but others provide valuable insights into the world and characters.
Spill it. You know where the bastard's hiding, don't you?
I told you before. That depends.
Oh yeah? You wasted my time.
Shinra's time, you mean?
Shinra knows better than to stick its nose in my boss's business.
Like I give a shit.
A side character that I really like is Chadley.
Performing physical analysis. Sizable weapon, excellent cardiovascular health and impressive lung capacity, perfectly balanced muscle and bone structure. An optimal candidate. My name is Chadley. I'm an intern for Shinra's Research and Development Division. I hope you'll be interested in helping me with my research.
Chadley's research involves assessing all creatures you encounter. The more creatures you assess, the more materia Chadley makes for you. The materia that Chadley makes can only be bought from him. So make sure to stagger and exploit enemies' weaknesses to improve the materia that Chadley has available. Visually, the game is stunning. Midgar is brought to life with incredible detail, from the slums to the towering plates above. The character models are also beautifully designed, capturing the essence of the original while updating them for modern audiences.
The more we pile up, the more they show up. Inside, you'll find a room with 2 doors. Don't take the one in front of you. You want the room on the right. That's where you'll find it.
The game is packed with cinematic sequences that seamlessly blend into gameplay. These moments are visually impressive and help drive the story forward.
It's over!
That's my line.
He's alone! We can take it! Make it rain!
You've got this. It's over. No holding back. See ya. Wait!
Nice meeting you.
Sword on the ground! Right now! You're dead! Do this!
Not bad.
The soundtrack is another standout, featuring reimagined versions of the classic tracks alongside new compositions. The voice acting is top-notch, with each actor bringing their character to life in a way that feels authentic.
It's been a long time since I fought a duel out of the saddle. But for all the miles on the clock, I'm just as fast as I ever was.
At last, our long-awaited dance begins. Here's to a fair fight, my
Try me. Come on. No holding back.
What a wonderful gift you've given to me! How marvelous!
Of collapse, rendering the entire sector hazardous. Therefore, all residents of
No way.
This couldn't have been us, could it?
But what if it was?
What's done is done.
Merc's right. It ain't pretty, but we can't stop now. This was just the first reactor, and the planet won't be safe till we get the rest.
Yeah. We always knew this was gonna get messy.
Now, let's dive into the new narrative elements introduced in the remake. The Arbiters of Fate, for instance, are a significant addition, and their role in the story has sparked a lot of discussions. The Arbiters of Fate, also known as the Whispers, are mysterious, ghost-like entities introduced in Final Fantasy VII Remake. Their primary purpose is to preserve the flow of the original timeline by ensuring events unfold as they did in the original 1997 game. They intervene whenever something threatens to deviate from the predetermined path, acting as agents of destiny. Throughout the game, the Whispers appear at critical moments, subtly guiding characters to make decisions that align with the original story. For example, they prevent Aerith from leaving Midgar too early or block Cloud and the others from changing key events. Their presence hints at a meta-narrative, where the remake isn't just a straightforward retelling but a story that acknowledges its own legacy. Some fans love the new twists, while others feel it deviates too much from the original. I'll share my thoughts on whether these changes enhance or detract from the experience. Personally, I believe these thoughts enhance the new experience. Keep in mind that I've never played the original game, but the fact that I can always go back and play it in its entirety means that any new additions only add to the narrative experience. There's also a lot of speculation about what these changes mean for the future parts of the remake series.
Yoo-hoo. I don't need to tell you what this is, right?
Of course not. It's healing materia.
You can have it for saving my life.
Just doing my job. Nothing more.
Yeah. Fact is, I'm lucky you were there.
Survival can be a matter of luck or skill. And you can't rely on luck.
Words to live by.
Yeah, well, thanks.
You do know how to use it, right?
You do know what I was, right?
Materia plays a crucial role in customizing your characters and determining your combat strategies. Whether you're a returning fan or a newcomer, this system has a lot to offer, so let's break down how it works and see if it delivers. Let's start with the basics. Materia is essentially crystallized Mako energy that players can equip to their characters' weapons and armor. Each piece of materia grants specific abilities, ranging from spells and summons to support or passive bonuses. In Final Fantasy VII Remake, the materia system allows for a high level of customization, giving players the freedom to build each character's skill set. Materia slots into weapons and armor, with each piece of gear offering a different number of slots, some linked for combo materia, others independent. The system blends magic, skills, and tactical options into your combat experience. There are 5 main categories of materia in the remake. Number 1. Magic materia, This type is essential for casting spells. It covers everything from elemental attacks like fire and blizzard to healing spells like cure and buffs like barrier. Each piece of magic materia levels up as you gain AP, ability points, making your spells more powerful or unlocking new tiers, like fire becoming Fyra and eventually Firaga. Number 2, command materia. This type gives characters new abilities beyond basic attacks. For instance, Assess lets you scan enemies for weaknesses, while Steal allows you to grab items from foes. ATB Boost is a standout here, letting you fill your ATB gauge faster, giving you more frequent access to abilities in battle. Number 3, support materia. This category is for combining effects. It works by linking with other materia in your gear, adding unique abilities. For example, pairing elemental with a magic materia like fire allows you to deal fire damage through your regular attacks. Magnify is another fan favorite, letting you turn a single target spell like Cure into a group-wide heal. Number 4, summon materia. These allow you to call upon powerful creatures to aid you in battle. You'll find familiar summons like Ifrit, Shiva, and Bahamut, each with devastating abilities that can turn the tide of a fight. Summons are only available during boss fights or large enemy encounters, which makes them feel more special and cinematic. Number 5, complete materia. These are more passive in nature. HP up increases your health pool, MP up raises your magic points, and Luck up enhances your critical hit chances. These are great for fine-tuning your character's stats and making sure they're performing optimally for your chosen strategy. Materia levels up through AP, which you gain in battles. This progression adds a layer of satisfaction, as your spells and abilities become stronger the more you use them. Seeing Fire upgrade to Fyra or Cure become Karaga is a rewarding experience. It's not just about unlocking new spells, either. Leveling up materia can also increase its range, potency, or effectiveness. This adds a level of strategy to how you allocate materia. Early on, you'll need to make tough decisions on which materia to focus on because some, like Revive or Barrier, might take a while to fully develop. It also encourages you to swap materia between characters to maximize AP gain and level up faster. Each weapon and piece of armor in the game has a set number of materia slots. Weapons like Cloud's iconic Buster Sword may have fewer slots but offer more raw power, while other weapons, like the Hard Edge, offer more materia slots at the cost of lower base stats. As you upgrade your weapons through the game's weapon upgrade system, you unlock more slots, creating deeper customization options. The materia system works in tandem with this upgrade system to create synergy between your chosen playstyle and your character's loadouts. For example, if you're focusing on a magic-heavy build, you'll want to prioritize weapons with more materia slots, even if that means sacrificing some physical power. On the other hand, a more physical-focused player might go for fewer slots but buff their stats through passive materia like HP up or strength up. While the materia system in Final Fantasy VII Remake is incredibly deep and rewarding, it's not without its flaws. One downside is that some materia feels underpowered or situational, like binding, sleep, silence, etc., which doesn't always work on stronger enemies. It would have been nice to see more practical uses for some of these. Additionally, the remake limits materia slots on armor more than I'd like. While weapons get decent slots and upgrades, some of the best armors are lacking in materia slots, forcing you to make sacrifices in either defense or utility. It's a balancing act, but it can feel restrictive at times, especially when you want to experiment with different builds. Another criticism is that in certain situations, the materia you're working hard to level up gets locked out because the fight mechanics prevent you from using them. For example, summons are only available during specific fights, which limits the use of summon materia. You don't get as much chance to play around with these in regular encounters, which can be a bit of a letdown. One area where the materia system shines is in its ability to adapt to different combat scenarios. You can swap materia between fights to tailor your strategy, depending on the enemies you're facing. For instance, against mechanical enemies, equipping lightning materia makes a huge difference, while fights with magic-resistant foes might push you to focus on physical enhancements or summons. This adaptability also extends to boss fights, where your materia setup can make or break the battle. In particular, the game encourages you to learn from your losses, using the assess materia to find weaknesses, then adjusting your loadout accordingly. This dynamic approach to combat keeps things fresh and challenging, making materia more than just a stat boost. It's a critical component of strategy. So, is the materia system in Final Fantasy VII Remake a success? Absolutely. It captures the essence of the original while adding enough depth and flexibility to keep players engaged throughout the game. The system encourages experimentation, rewards strategic thinking, and integrates beautifully into the combat mechanics. Sure, there are a few areas that could use improvement, but overall, it's a fantastic system that stands the test of time and feels fresh in a modern context. What do you think? Did they nail it, or would you like to see some changes in future installments? Let me know in the comments. Now, let's talk about one of the most important systems in Final Fantasy VII Remake, the weapons. Unlike a lot of RPGs where weapons are just stat sticks, the weapons in this game define how you play and how your characters evolve. We're going to look at their unique attributes, how the upgrade system works, and whether this feature adds depth or just more grind to the game. Let's get into it. Let's kick things off with a quick overview. Each character in Final Fantasy VII Remake has access to multiple weapons, all of which come with their own unique stats, materia slots, and abilities. Unlike most RPGs where you simply find a better weapon and discard the old one, FFVI Remake encourages you to keep every weapon you acquire. Each weapon can be upgraded through a skill tree, which allows you to tailor each one to your specific playstyle. Whether you're focusing on raw attack power, magic, or defensive capabilities, the upgrade system lets you modify your weapons based on how you want to play. Cloud is your first character and the face of the franchise, so let's start with his arsenal. Cloud wields a variety of swords, each offering a distinct playstyle. First is the Buster Sword. This is Cloud's iconic starting weapon, and it's surprisingly viable throughout the game thanks to its balanced stat growth between attack and magic. The Buster Sword focuses on an all-around playstyle, with solid physical damage and magic capabilities. It has a classic feel but allows flexibility. Buster Sword's unique ability is Focus Thrust, a strong thrust that builds stagger, making it ideal for breaking down tough enemies. Next we have Iron Blade. This sword is more magic-focused, so if you want Cloud casting more spells, this is your go-to early game option. It sacrifices some physical power for a better magical stat boost, and its upgrades lean heavily into both magic attack and defense. Iron Blade's unique ability is Triple Slash, a fantastic multi-hit attack that targets multiple enemies, which is super useful in crowd control. Next, we've got Tifa, the fast, agile brawler of the group. Her weapons focus heavily on physical attacks, but each one also encourages a different combat approach. Leather Gloves. Tifa's starting gloves are pretty balanced, offering decent attack and materia slots. They're nothing flashy, but they set a solid foundation for her fast, combo-based combat. Leather Glove's unique ability is Dive Kick, a straightforward aerial attack that's great for quick damage. The key feature that makes these weapons unique is the weapon upgrade system. Each weapon has its own skill tree, which you unlock by spending SP, skill points, earned from leveling up. The upgrade trees allow you to unlock more materia slots, increase physical or magic damage, boost defense, and more. This system is a huge part of what makes the weapons in FFVI Remake feel so customizable. You can upgrade each weapon to fit your playstyle, and even weaker weapons can remain viable throughout the game if you invest enough points into them. There's no best weapon. It all comes down to how you want to play. For example, you might upgrade the Buster Sword to increase magic stats, or invest in defense for Barrett's Big Bertha to make him a tank. The choice is yours. Weapons can be found in the bright purple cases you'll find along your journey or bought from your friendly local merchant. So make sure you visit them often.
Huh? I ain't got nothing for a punk-ass bitch like you! Get on out of here!
So, are the weapons in Final Fantasy VII Remake just another part of the grind, or do they add real depth? Honestly, they're one of the game's highlights. The variety between each weapon, combined with the upgrade system, gives players tons of flexibility in how they build each character. Whether you're smashing through enemies with Cloud's Hard Edge, casting devastating spells with Aerith's Mithril Rod, or tanking with Barrett's Big Bertha, there's a weapon for every playstyle. That said, not all weapons are created equal, and some require more grinding than others to make them useful. But overall, the weapon system is deep, engaging, and offers a ton of replay value. What do you think? Do you have a favorite weapon? Let me know in the comments below.
Public.
The train will be passing through an ID checkpoint shortly.
This here is the train's route. As you can see, it'll take us around this main pillar. Look, we're about halfway through it now. They've set up a checkpoint here to scan the IDs of all passengers heading in and out. Date of birth, residential status, criminal history, all that and more is automatically cross-referenced in their databases. Public security wouldn't have it any other way.
So, after spending over 300 hours in Midgar, how does Final Fantasy VII Remake hold up? In my opinion, it's a fantastic reimagining that balances nostalgia with innovation. And also, the game doesn't even start until the New Game Plus mode. It's only at this point that you're an overpowered mercenary. And for me, this is where the game truly begins. However, it's not without its flaws. Some pacing issues, filler content, and the divisive narrative changes might not sit well with everyone. The game excels in its presentation, character development, and combat system. It's clear that a lot of love went into making this remake. With that being said, if I had to rate it, I'd give Final Fantasy VII Remake a solid 9 stars out of 10. It's a must-play for fans of the original and newcomers alike, but keep in mind that it's just the first part of a much larger story. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts on the game in the comments below. See you in the next video.
Catch me if you can!